Hello, I am coming to you today and we are going to talk about a wonderful herb. Um, I am only going to do as much as I can on this herb. This herb that I'm going to be talking about today is called ginger. And I mean, I could probably talk about this herb for a long time, but I'm only going to touch it like this much. This herb is really a powerhouse. I mean, this is going to be in the category of the 10 herbs that I think that you should grow in your backyard. I'm doing a series right now on herbs that I think you should grow in your backyard. The herbs that I think you should grow in your backyard so that you don't have to go to the grocery store. I think we're living in a really tough time right now in our society. I know that there are some things going on right now that I think I don't have to do a lot of explaining about it. But I think along with food that we should all be growing in our garden, but there's some things that we should include in our gardening that you can make basically medicinal properties. You can also use to help support your body in case you might end up needing them if you get sick. So basically, I'm going to go over this herb. I know that it can be grown in lots of areas, and if you might have a neighbor that, you know, or somebody in your immediate area or a friend, and you say, I haven't got a clue how to grow this, maybe you guys can get together and buy a book, or maybe somebody has a book on the shelf and y'all get together and learn how to grow this. Because I was one, even though I'm an herbalist, I was like, I don't know how to grow this. There's lots of plants out there, and I'm going to give you a few tips here. I did not get this planted in my backyard this year, but I will be planting it come fall. I mean, not fall, because it's already starting. This is August. I will be planting in the spring. It does take a while, but it's worth it right now. You used to could buy this at the store very inexpensively, but now the price of everything is shooting up so expensively. So I'm going to be growing this for myself. It's a root, and it's so worth it. And so I'm going to go ahead and start talking about it, and I'm going to just plant that seed in your mind, because this is a wonderful herb to have. Okay, ginger, it's called Zingiber officinale is the Latin name. The common name is just common ginger. Okay, the toxicity for this, I always like to get that out of the way right away, and it's during pregnancy. Some adverse are that it's reported that it does help with morning sickness, but then it can also have the adverse reaction to some women where it does make them sick. So when you're pregnant, some people drink ginger tea. It's even recommended by doctors to drink the ginger tea, and it also can sometimes have other spices with it to help relieve morning sickness. And then some women, it makes them sick. So just be careful. So the smell of it can sometimes make you feel better, and drinking it not. So the habitat for the growth, so we need to pay attention. There's a picture here, and it's a beautiful picture. It's grown a lot in Florida. It's heavily grown in Florida, and it grows in Asia because of the habitat that they have there, which rains a lot and it's moist a lot. So if you can keep that area moist and rainy, you can grow ginger For me, I'm in Texas, so it kind of stays dry here. I would need to get it really, keep it moist. I could probably make that an area of moisture and keep it, I would have to keep it that way. And it grows in India a lot there. It's very aromatic. Of course, if you've had ginger, you know it's just really wonderful. So it grows 2 to 4 feet tall and 2 to 4 feet wide, and it needs partial shade and a lot of humidity. So it grows in zones 9 to 12, and I'm not in that zone, so I would need to make a habitat for it to get into that environment. So it may get that way, it may not, but I'm going to try it, you know. So the leaves has the and it has a bright red bud. The flowers knobby-like. It's a beautiful. You might want to. I might be able to produce some pictures. I don't know, somewhere in this video to help you look at it. But it says medium to wet. It's an annual, so you have to plant it every year. This is good for pods and even in backyard gardens, so that's why I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get my little mind going here. The history of use is it's a medicinal plant. It's also for spices. It's started out in the southern parts of China, but it spread to India because of, and it also went to some west parts of Africa because of the wars and stuff like that is the reason it kind of spread. But India is the greatest producer of ginger today. They use it, they pickle it, and it's made as a snack and teas. It's a spice and used in cooking in various ways. It's let's see, the healing actions. This is always where I like to get to. Is shown in research for fighting cancer, and that's why I really like to find out all the research. In America, they are doing tons of research right now because it's an anti-inflammatory. It enhances the immune function, and this is where I really like to get to it because every year I try to take just a regular quart jar or a half pint jar, whatever, and I fill up my, I don't use a lot, I just use about that much, and I peel my garlic cloves and I put it in there and I fill it up with honey. Well, I was told about a year ago to cut up ginger and put ginger in there with it, and what the properties do to one another, and you set it on your counter for about a week and you just leave it alone, you let it ferment, and what that does together, I mean, it just makes it so makes it like a powerhouse. And what you're doing, and then after a week when you see the bubbles come up, you can do it for 2 weeks if you want. But usually after around 9 days, I don't ever leave it for 2 weeks. But after about 9 days, when I see all the bubbles come up, I take the lid off, I'll let the air out, and then I put the lid back on after I stir it up real good, and then I just put it in the refrigerator. And then throughout the whole winter, I just take one out, and you're eating something that doesn't even taste like ginger, it doesn't taste like garlic, they're very pungent herbs, pungent. You could cook with it, you can throw it in there and sneak it into your family. Because my husband, he does not like that strong garlic. But you just sneak it in there. You can put it in a smoothie. You can do whatever. But if you have like a sore throat and the back of your throat is getting sore, just take a couple of sips of that honey. And it's just like it's gone. It's really strong medicine. It's great. But anyway, it's warming, it's drying, it's all the things that you need it to be, plus it's great medicine. It reduces the pain, it aids in digestion, it aids in bloating, it aids in gas, it protects the skin, It's an antioxidant, it's an antibacterial, and it's well known to build up the blood. So, I mean, that's medicine, and it is so good for your body. It they are wondering, doing the research, the benefits found to lowering the blood cholesterol. And they found that it's the bad cholesterol that it's lowering. That's pretty awesome, ginger, right? So in Indian, which is Ayurvedic medicine, they use it every day, fresh. They just take a little piece off, stick it in their mouth. That gets rid of their headache. They have dry mouth. Some people that are on chemotherapy over there. If lots of side effects of cancer, common colds, viruses. For myself, I use it almost every day in cooking. I use it in the powder. I cook it in a little pot. I cut it up, cook it in a little pot, and then I just mash it. And I use like cinnamon. I use cloves. I just use all kinds of spices. Put a little olive oil with it, put it in a little jar, put it in my deal, and then I take it out and I just continually use it. I add it on my chicken, add it with all kinds of other fish, everything. And so, yeah, you put it with your tea. You could put it for any kind of after dinner. You know, like you think, well, I'm just going to have me some ginger tea. You can just throw it in there and spice up your ginger tea. So the best time to harvest this is it has a rhizome that is grown several months, and the flower tops, the flower is so beautiful. What happens is it has these real beautiful yellow flowers that come up. So let's see, let me see here. I just lost myself. Oh, and it says you cut it then and you scald it to kill the growth. Then leaving it some for it to still grow. This must actually take place until it gets around 50 degrees. So it has to kind of get, you know, into the fall. And that's when it's ready. I guess you dig it up once that all dies down. And that's pretty typical for most plants. Once all the pretty stuff, you know, on the top dies, then you go in and you can dig it up. So it's just so impressive, everything, right, that I just said. And I mean, it's so beautiful. So let's go over here and see what, oh, it's just a beautiful article that's written. I won't go into all this. But it talks about the rhizomes being edible. Some parts of it are, they talk about the nurseries. There's places that you can go in Florida, and how the different stomach aches are cured and all that. So we won't go into all that right there. There is, it's just a beautiful flower. Yeah, so, I mean, this is just a tip of the iceberg, just a tip of the iceberg. It's a flowering plant, but it's beautiful. But the root is really all that we use. It doesn't say anything about how they use the flowers or anything, but that would be interesting to learn. I need to go and find out about that. But this is really what I wanted to talk to you about today, about the being one of my top 10. This is ginger, and I guess you also know that my next one is going to be about garlic. This is a time of year where we need to plant garlic, which will come around tomorrow. tomorrow is actually when I plant my garlic. In August, here in Texas, we plant garlic, and then, or I do anyway, and then it will winter out, and then I will have it for spring. And, but anyway, I just wanted to get on here and let y'all know about the most, I'm in a series right now where I'm talking about these backyard herbs that I think everybody ought to have, and ginger is one of them. I've talked about peppermint, and I will also talk about garlic. So that will be my next video. And if you have any comment that you would like to leave me, please do. This is going to be a great way for us to talk about what you think should be growing in your garden, in your backyard garden. And so let me know what you think about ginger, and let me know what you think should be growing in your backyard and where you live, because I would really like to know. Like I said, I'm from Texas, and there are lots of things that are going on right now, and we need to really help each other out. This is the time. And so I would really be interested in hearing what you think are the 10, or maybe there's more herbs out there that we need to be discussing, and how they help your body out in ways that you may have experienced, and what you've done to help your family out. But for right now, I'm going to let it close, and we're going to get to the next herb. So, you have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless.